Here I am with Meaghan Lister, part of Teachers Together English, and thought we'd have a talk with her today about what the curriculum is all about. Hi, Meaghan.
Hello, how are you, David?
I'm very good. I'm very good today.
Excellent.
So I wanted to start out really. Tell us a little bit about your background and how you really got this whole thing going with Teachers Together English.
Teachers Together English really started about a year ago when everything sort of exploded in China and teachers started losing positions with big companies and more teachers started going private and teachers started looking for curriculum. And at that time, a group of like-minded teachers came together with an interest in creating lessons that they could use with their students, and it could be used by other teachers with their students as well. So in the last year, the curriculum has grown to over 390 lessons. The lessons are across 6 levels currently, levels 1 to 6. And there are new lessons added every single week. So it is a constantly growing and evolving sort of product. And we are frequently making changes and updates to the curriculum in response to suggestions and questions from teachers.
Excellent. So, about how many lessons have you guys added so far this year?
This year, oh, quite a few. I would probably guess we've added 200, maybe 250 lessons this year. We're currently over 390. So, and it's been about a year. So, the bulk of those definitely have been added in 2022.
That's awesome. That's a lot of lessons. And you have lessons from level one through what right now?
Level 1 through level 6. So level 1 and level 2 are pretty complete, and level 3 and level 4 are in that 75 to 80% complete. And then level 5 and level 6, there's about 2.5, 3 units in each of those levels. So when we talk about a unit has 10 lessons. Each of those lessons is designed to be 25 minutes, and each level has 10 units. So when we're all completed, and we do hope to add a level 7 eventually, but when we're all completed, we'll have 700 lessons, and and then build from there, depending on
Okay,
what people's needs are.
excellent. I get a lot of times I get people asking on the website if they can see a preview or any kind of thing about the lessons or what it looks like in advance. What do you usually tell those people when you see comments like that?
So there are some lessons available on the Tutor resource that you can click through as samples. So there is a sample available for each of the levels. Some of the lessons also have some screenshots, and one of the best places to go and see sort of a wide array of screenshots from all of the different levels and lessons is our Facebook page. So if you search for Teachers Together English on Facebook, every time a new lesson is released, it's posted on the page. We post screenshots from that lesson, and it gives you a really good idea what the lesson looks like and some of the content that's in that lesson. So all of those are options. You can click through a whole lesson, you can look for screenshots, or you can see sort of those promos. And certainly we'd encourage people to follow us on our Facebook page so they are aware of those new lessons that have pop up.
Okay. And for those watching this on the YouTube replay, what type of students would you say the lessons are going to benefit the most?
Certainly the lessons are probably targeting students who have a little bit of English to start. So we do have level 1 lessons, but they aren't really intended for someone who doesn't even know the word hello. So we do cover alphabet and all of the phonics right up through, but certainly the lessons are probably geared for students that are a little bit older. They're not necessarily the 3-year-olds that the parents have decided that they want them to learn English. One of the things about the lessons is that it's a really wide ranging curriculum with lots of different topics. So whether you decide that you want to teach it from level 1 straight to level 6 and use every unit and every lesson in between, or maybe depending on the needs of your student, you really need a unit on birthdays or a unit on airplane travel because they're going to be going on a trip, or a unit related to animals because they love animals. there's lots of options in there where you can pick and choose some of those units too. And because there are so many units at each level, if you decide you're only doing 6 units per level and moving up, your student's ready. As a teacher, you have the flexibility and the freedom to do whatever you want in that manner. So it can be sort of a standalone. This is what you use every single week, and obviously with 390 lessons, you're not going to run out anytime soon. Or it can be something where you are using other curriculums and you also want to supplement with Teachers Together English, because one of the benefits of the Teacher Together English lessons is that they're very well rounded. So they do introduce new vocabulary, they do introduce sight words and phonics, and they show the vocabulary in context with vocabulary sentences, but they also have reading and comprehension questions and grammar activities. So and some of them have math. So they're very well-rounded types of lessons where you can discuss all of those things in one 25-minute block.
Excellent. So yeah, that's another thing I was going to ask about. How long are the lessons scheduled for? So all of them are about 25 minutes, even the upper levels?
Yeah, they're all intended to be about 25 minutes. It really does depend on the individual teacher. I know myself personally, I tend to extend and ask lots of questions. And so sometimes I wouldn't get through a lesson, even if I built it myself and had intended to. But other times, depending on the student, maybe the student's really strong and you can fly through that a little bit faster. We do try to provide some additional suggestions. Maybe they're videos, maybe there's a worksheet, maybe there's a link to an extra grammar resource. So we try to provide some additional suggestions, and we have been slowly adding to that so that if you do run out of activities for that lesson, at least there's some other things. There's some extension slides at the end. There's some things that might work. But because it's intended primarily to be used by private teachers, and it doesn't have to be exclusively used that way, you have that freedom as the private teacher to skip slides, to do extra slides, to go back and redo a lesson because you need your student to really understand something. So we intend them to be 25 minutes, but it depends on your teaching style.
Okay. And are these lessons static? Are they interactive? Are they a combination? How would you describe the lessons?
So the lessons are built using Google Slides as a basis at this point in time. Certainly it is our intention to begin to add some more interactive type lessons like you see coming out of Genially products. But they are also interactive. So they have the typical, circle things. Maybe they have matching or your matching activities. They have fill in the blank type activities. There are some animations built in where there's like wheels that spin or things that hop and jump. And there's a game with a whack-a-mole. Mole pops up with a word. So there's some different things happening within the lessons that even though they were built in Google Slides, there's lots of opportunity to keep your student really engaged.
Okay. And from what you've seen so far with your current users, what type of presentations or how do teachers use these? Do they use them with Zoom or do they use them with ClassIn or what do they usually use?
Yeah. So teachers are using them with all sorts of products. So they work well with Zoom, with Voov, with ClassIn. They work well really with anything that allows you to screen share something in a browser. And it really is open to your tool of choice. They are available to teachers teaching privately ESL. They're also available to teachers teaching on platforms such as OutSchool.
Excellent. Okay. Yeah. There's a lot of outschool and all school students looking for lessons all the time. So your lessons are definitely usable by them, correct?
Oh, yes, definitely. Um, they're there for teachers to use with their students in the way that they see and need to,
It's
based on
excellent.
how they teach their lessons and where they teach their lessons.
Okay. Well, since we're talking about the lessons, if you'd like to, you can share your screen. Let's see a couple of
Sure.
these things. You can show us a little bit about them.
Yeah, so sure. So this is the Teachers Together website. And so it's just teacherstogetherenglish.com. And when you click on it, you can click on View Curriculum, and it will take you right over to the tutor resource. And it takes you right to the main curriculum page where you have the opportunity to jump around through the various levels. It also allows you to see those sample lessons that I mentioned earlier. that you can click through, and they're right here ready for you to use. And they have, so as you can see, this one has a video, it's song. So lots of things happening in those, and some animations. This is a level 1 sample. You can jump through the units, you can scroll through and see the titles of the lessons. It's sort of whatever works for you in terms of what you're looking for and what you need. Now, in terms of some of the lessons, let's sort of look. I've just opened a few. So this one is from level 1. It is about midway through. It's unit 6, My Family. And this one happens to be about grandma and grandpa. So our level 1 lessons do have ABCs in them. And when you come in here, you can certainly just do this and click through. I would strongly encourage people to click on the 3 dots and enter the full screen mode. And by entering that full screen mode, it fills your screen. The students have a better experience. They don't see those little browser pieces, and it's a lot easier to move through it. So you can click the songs and play. As you can see, they're just fun. And then our level 1 lessons all have a standard sort of welcome. You know, what's your name? How old are you? How are you? And students can, you could write students' names on the name tag. You could circle how they're feeling. They can circle their age. So you can begin to see some of those interactions already. You know, this is a family tree. So keeping in mind that this is level 6, lesson 6 or 7 in this unit, they've already been introduced to all of these characters. So this is a little bit of a review. And you can ask the question, of course, who's this? This is my sister, and then it moves along, and we have more. So I'll just click through that because we're just going to go through all of them. How many people are in the family? And again, that clicks in with a nice answer. And then we learn our new vocabulary. So in this case, we have grandma and a sentence, a key sentence that matches these sentences that they already learned. Who's this? This is my sister. This is my brother. Well, now we have, this is my grandma. And now we can see grandma has appeared on the family tree. So who's this? This is my grandma. This is grandma. Same thing happens. We've got grandpa, the key sentence we're working with, and then who's this? Same idea. This is grandpa with the family tree. Our lessons, because this is level 1, they do have alphabet letters. So this particular one is Y. This is a sounded out sort of sign lesson. So yip, yip, yellow, or yip, yip, yo-yo. And then they get to practice that. They can draw those letters. They can do the same thing with Z or zoo and zebra. I'm Canadian, I say Z. So people have picked that up, but it doesn't say it on the screen. So you can say whatever you want Z to say.
Yeah, I've noticed
And
that a lot of the lessons, there are some that actually have some British or Canadian English, and then some
yeah,
that are that most of that are the American style of English as
yeah.
well.
So certainly the neighborhood one was sort of the one that was the most controversial. And how do you spell the word neighborhood? So when you look at the neighborhoods unit, there is actually 2 versions. You can choose Canadian English, which is, you know, we have lots of letters and we spell words this way. Or you can choose the American version where we misspelled words and deleted letters in the word neighborhood. So, you know, that's, everyone has their own perspective. And certainly if there was another unit where people were looking for the same sort of thing, it's fairly easy for us to make that American versus Canadian version. And then we have some number counting with a song, and then counting of the volcanoes. And the volcanoes here is actually a word that they learned with the letter V. So there's matching of numbers to words, and a circling of numbers and words, a word of the day song, so you can get your singing voice on. This is to the tune of bingo, so everyone should be familiar with it. And this particular activity, the singing of the sight words, is something that does appear relatively regularly in our level 1 curriculum. And then they're finding that word. So where is the word do? And that's
So
the end of our level 1 lesson.
so since we're on Zoom, we could actually draw if we wanted to do that and show
Oh yeah,
that
we
it's still
definitely could.
possible.
Yeah. So you can
Yes.
certainly draw things, and as I mentioned, there are some extension reviews. So this one actually has some of the letters from previous lessons in it. here's the volcano. So there's lots of things in here to keep you occupied for 25 minutes. So that's our youngest level. As we move up, this is a level 2 lesson. And again, I'm going to put it in again. This is unit 6. So it's again about midway through. So about 10 units later than the last one. And just to sort of have a look at what that would look like. This one is about my body. And again, it does have a song to start. I'm going to not play it. We have the same sort of warm up because some students may know their letters and you may not use level 1. You may go directly into the level 2 lessons. And then we get into body parts. So you can see this particular unit uses a lot of monsters. So not necessarily people per se, but monsters, which of course kids love. And so the word, a sentence, and then a second sentence actually. So you can see that we're starting to build on what they've learned in level 1. Body part here is nose. And again, we have, now we get the person to point out the nose and our monster, and he doesn't happen to have a nose. So we get to, they've already done things like it and my and some of those words in some of the other lessons. So, we can begin to help them with some sentence patterns, learning some of those things. We have a mouth. This person comes in, he's got a mouth. And then we've just got a whole collection of monster families. So, counting eyes, counting monster mouths, and then this crazy monster about whether it has a nose. And then the students get to draw. And
This
students
looks like a
love
very
to draw.
fun lesson. Yeah, this looks very fun.
They love to draw all over your screen. And so this one's fun because they get to draw with a purpose.
Yes.
And a matching activity, what's missing. So these are some things we're going to see something go missing. Oh, it's missing. What's gone? And then it comes back. What's missing? So just some fun things. And then a touching activity. So touching your eye, touching your nose, your mouth. So you can see that the lesson is a little bit more involved than our level 1 lessons, but still lots of opportunity to interact. Getting back into phonics. Now we're into sounds of letters, not just so vowel sounds actually, and some reading of some I would say long I words. This is the spin thing that I mentioned. You get to spin and read a word. You can even spin again.
That's a very cool activity. Yeah.
Yeah. So the kids like that. I'm not sure how many times we can spin. A few. Listening for middle sounds and filling that letter in. And then just that phonics sentence. So again, all long I words, which is what they've been working on. You'll see that song of the day for our sight word reappears, using that word, and then some grammar around capital letters. So this one they're looking for mistakes and some addition. So we do have some math in this as well, and our monster characters, which the kids love, have come back. So they get to practice. And that's that whole lesson. There is a goodbye song generally especially in our younger levels at the end, same with the welcome song at the beginning. Those are things that are sort of standard. From there, we can get into level 3. This one is a clothing unit, and it is unit 5. So again, about 10 levels later, 10 units later, into the next level. And you'll see that we have a poem to read instead of that song, right? We've got some longer sentences. We have, this is about underwear. So, we have a variety of sentences about the underwear, socks, and shoes. We have more reading. We have still some fun things. So what is it? We should have the timer going so that we don't run out of time. And we've got socks, great. Underwear, we bet the timer, we win. We're faster than 15 seconds. And then again, some circling activities. So you can begin to see sort of the repetition. So even though our lessons tend to be built by different creators, our units are certainly consistent. So one creator would build one complete unit, and that way there is consistency through all those lessons. You will see that we've used similar templates. Each level has a different color, so you sort of visually know, oh yeah, I'm in the right level or I'm not in the right level when you're frantically jumping between students that you've booked back to back. And there's just a variety of activities through them. So, you know, making your own sentences, again, phonics, this is now into hard G and double E's, long E words. So there's lots happening here. Some this is, that's, you know, what is that? What is this? So you can see that these are just fun activities for the kids to practice.
How did you decide on what phonics, what grammar, what vocabulary words to put in each of these lessons?
Yeah, so our phonics is certainly based on sort of standard phonics curriculum. So we've used a very structured approach to that to ensure that we're really building phonics in a consistent way. We actually went back and did a complete review of all of our phonics and did that overhaul to build that in. The same thing, we're using recommended scopes and sequences around grammar and have gone back through our lessons and put all of those things in as well in the appropriate place, in the appropriate order. So students are learning about nouns before they're learning about verbs, for instance. And so all of those things have been rejigged to ensure that we're very consistent. Even our sight words are based on Dolch sight words. And so we're using Dolch and Fry sight word lists to ensure that we're using sight words that are sort of standardly accepted. The even our vocabulary words. So when we look at vocabulary words, we look at things like the Cambridge vocabulary lists and try to make sure we're pulling in words that students, particularly Chinese students, because a lot of us are teaching Chinese students. Those Cambridge word lists are really important to people. So looking at those words and trying to pull in those words and those topics and ensure that they are covered. And some of the topics are just there because they're a whole lot of fun. And so we want students to talk about things that they love and that they like as well. And as a teacher, you have the flexibility to do those units or to skip those units. So if you want to talk about video games, we have a video games unit, coming very shortly. If you want to talk about dinosaurs, we've got a dinosaur unit there. And the dinosaur unit is a level 5 unit. And really and truly, if you had an 8-year-old that was in level 3 that loved dinosaurs, you could scaffold those lessons as well and use them with a younger group. You might have to do more reading, but it certainly would work. So we're trying to sort of consider what is sort of the standard in English as second language, what are best practices in English and second language, what is research saying, but then also to ensure our lessons are really just fun and interesting and engaging for students.
Excellent. All right, it looks like you have a couple other lessons here
I
to
have
look at.
level 4 up. I pulled up a little bit of everything. So this is level 4, and I won't go through all of it, but you can just see that evolution, right? This is, again, about 10 units higher. So it's halfway through level 4. We've gone from, very short reading to more reading. We've gone from, this is all about airport travel, this particular one, and I think this is partway through that unit as well. And we have more reading here in our vocabulary. We are typically using standard Cambridge English Dictionary definitions as well in some of those explanations. So definitely helpful. And then we have sort of a cartoon comic book style story in this one. And some of our units have comic book style conversational based lessons, and some of them don't. But it does give students that real flavor of, what would this interaction be like in the airport? A lot of our students will have been through an airport, maybe not an English speaking airport, but in this case, we can have those same conversations that they would have had in Chinese or in French or in German in English. And, they pull in the words from previous units and lessons. So this is talking about shoes, which of course we just saw in our clothing unit in level 3. And so you can see we go through, we're going to have x-ray, they go through the metal detector and asked about coins, and they get to enjoy their flight.
This is a really
So
cool cartoon, comic book strip type thing.
yeah, and then there actually are pieces of it pulled back out into this conversation. You'll notice that we're missing the words. So whether it is, may I see your boarding pass, please? Hello, here is my, so you can help the students reuse what they've just read and fill in some blanks. We've seen this before, that fun interactive guess the vocabulary. So even though they're in level 4 and they're a little older, they still want to have fun. And we have our ghost letters or our silent letters. The W, of course, as we all know, is silent and right, and so the ghost helps to remind them of that. We have that ghost appearing here on our board game, and so you can use your dice in Class In, or you could use the dice extension in Chrome browser, whatever you happen to be using, or you can just pick up a big foam dice and roll it and show it to students. So this is, a little bit of everything. There's some pounds and ounces and kilograms because you have to weigh a suitcase. So again, having some math back in. Here's our whack a word, and there's our mole. And of course, if you get your word right, airplane, we whack it. So there's lots of fun things happening in these lessons, and lots of things to keep students engaged.
Woohoo! Nice. I like this game. This is cool.
This is fun. Students always like this game. It's been something that I've had students in a variety of different programs, and the whack a word or whack a mole pops up and they're all excited about reading the words. Um, so yeah, so those are sort of some of the lessons. This one I can flip through just a little bit of it. This is a level 5 lesson. It's an insect lesson. And you'll notice that we have some KWLs. We have, more sciencey type words. We've got some things that pop in, a lot more reading, right? So the lessons are getting more challenging. They still have fairly simple words so that they can read it, but the students will be doing some more reading. And there's a lovely little video here if you want to see creepy crawlies. So it depends on your interest in creepy crawlies, whether the walking stick lesson is for you. So, but lots of pieces. This one is partway through, so they've already been introduced to some of the body parts, and so this would be testing them on that. Back to the life cycle. So this is a very science-based unit. So that's why I say teachers can really pick and choose. Like if you're teaching science, you might want to go in and just use the science-based lessons. And certainly I have a strong science background, and and I do that with the animal body parts all the time because I teach science classes to 2 different students. So I'll go in and I will literally pull my animal body parts and my animal movements. I'll just skip a few slides. I skip the grammar stuff and I add a little bit of my own extension. And all of a sudden I've got a great science lesson. And this insect unit, even the reading is very science-based because they're really science stories. So there's some facts in these stories that make it worth reading from a science standpoint as well.
Wow.
And then sort of retelling that. So if I was teaching this for science, I would just stop here. I wouldn't do suffixes. I would have stopped after the story and maybe pulled up something else, or truthfully, that would have been enough to fill my class because I tend to ask students questions and have that interaction. So yeah, so there's a little bit of everything.
Excellent. Well, these look like some great lessons. So, what are some parting words that you have for some of our teachers watching this right now? Like, if they want to try it out, maybe they're using something else that's out there right now. What would you say that they should start with if they were to start with something here?
So if you haven't used any of the Teachers Together English lessons, or if you used them a long time ago, you haven't looked lately, I would strongly encourage you to go and check them out. There are a couple of options. You can certainly do a 1-day purchase, and you can buy any unit for a day for $1.50. So low cost, but you've only got it for a day. So what I would probably do if it was me and it was my dollars, I would look at which level do I think I want the most. And I would probably start with a basic membership. because a basic membership is $4.99. It gives you the whole month to 30 days, to go in, look at it, use them, try them out with students, try them out with trials, and get some feedback from the parents that you're working with. And, really to explore those lessons in better detail. Alternatively, you can certainly go to a premium membership. So I'm just back here on this main curriculum page. So remember, teacherstogetherenglish.com, click on curriculum, and you'll notice there's a button for the premium membership. But if you just want a specific level, you can go in and you can, go to the level 1 page, for instance. And when you get to the level 1 page, you've got the opportunity to subscribe to level 1 or to the entire curriculum. Remember, when you subscribe to the entire curriculum, you get the lessons that are there now. So currently, as of today, I think we're at 394 lessons, but you also get any lessons added within that month. And so those will just automatically appear, new units will automatically appear in your subscription. So both are really great options and a really great way to really try out and explore Teachers Together English. Once you've subscribed and you've used a lesson, you've liked it or you've not liked it, we want to know. So tell us what you liked, tell us what you didn't like, tell us what you want to see more of, tell us what works for your students and what didn't work for your students. You can reach us through their Facebook page. You can send us an email, of course, but by all means, reach out, because ultimately these lessons are here for teachers to use. They're created for teachers, by teachers, and we can only make them better with your feedback. And
Well, what's the best way for people to reach you?
Probably I would probably go, I'm a Facebook user, so I would probably suggest just going to our Facebook page at Teachers Together English and sending us a message, following the page, sending us a message. And there's a number of us who monitor those messages and can get back to you. And if it is a technical problem and you're not really sure, how to do something on the tutor resource, then by all means, send an email to the tutor resource and they can troubleshoot your technical problems. But in terms of lesson feedback or even lesson requests, like maybe you want to request, homework for a specific unit, or maybe you want to request another topic. We're still looking for topics, or we're still open to modifying our topics, especially for our upper levels in level 5 and 6. So there might be something that, you really say, oh, this is missing. By all means, send us a note, or maybe it would become a supplementary lesson. And in the future, we hope to add additional lessons, phonics, supplementary, maybe some reading stuff. But we're really concentrating on that main curriculum first so that we can say, you know what, here's the curriculum. These are all the levels. These are all the units. It's good to go. And as I said at the beginning, 1 and 2 are there. 3 and 4 are close, sitting in that 75% zone, which means there's 75 lessons in each of those units. And we're working on 5 and 6. So hopefully within the next few months, we'll be able to get more of those lessons completed and there for you. And the same thing goes if you're in level 5 and you're like, you know what, I really need another level 5 unit. Let us know. Maybe one of the creators can pick up level 5 and do another unit. And maybe you only need a lesson a week. That's not necessarily something that we can't do to support you.
Excellent. So it sounds like you guys have really got this figured out.
That's what we
Um,
hope.
so that's great. And I've seen on the Facebook page you've got some good reviews from some of your other teachers that have done this and used your programs. Can they review it on the website as well?
Yeah, you can review each of the lessons. So you'll notice here that we have 100+ reviews. We've got reviews right here already. And so you can actually add your feedback right on the tutor resource on a specific lesson. Or you can leave us a Facebook review, or you can do both. We certainly would encourage you to leave us reviews.
Very good. All right. So, do you have any parting words for anybody before we go for the day?
I don't think so. Certainly, thank you for having Teachers Together English here. We are here to help teachers and to support teachers who are teaching just like we are. So whatever teachers need and want, we want to hear from you, and we want to make sure our lessons work for you. So they're here, and check them out.
All right. Well, thank you, Megan. Thank you for your time today. Again, people, if you do have any questions, any thoughts, definitely contact them, email or go onto Facebook. Like I said, they are very quick at responding on Facebook. Um, uh, that's like the primary way I know people get in touch with them. But if you have any questions, you can always message the Tutor resource as well. We'll put you in the right direction. All right. So hope everybody enjoyed this little review, this little talk with Megan and Teachers Together English. If you like that, remember to subscribe, and you'll see some new updates coming forward as we interview some of the other creators in the future. All right.
All right.
Well, goodbye, Megan.
Bye, David. Thanks.
You're welcome. Bye bye.
Bye.